sometimes you can be so in a negative rut that you don't really even recognize that you're not yourself right now. So I did recognize it. And then I was just if I can recognize it, I can treat it.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm like, yeah, well, my mindset in that moment was be intentional. Like, don't let yourself go backwards. Like, you've worked way too hard to get where you are right now. Don't let yourself like blow this. So I decided to be super intentional. I wrote out how I felt, and then I wrote out all the things that make me feel amazing, because when you're in a rut, you forget what makes you feel good.
That's a hack.
You forget what makes you feel good. So I wrote in my journal a list of all the things that make me feel amazing. And every couple of days I was intentional. When I couldn't think and see clearly, I could see it on that list. So I went to that list, and if it was like, get my hair done. Like, oh, let's get my hair done. If it was get a massage, if it was meditate, journal, go for a walk. I just wrote down those things that made me feel good. And that's like intentionally fighting back rather than just letting the funk take you down.
Welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast. What?
It was on me. Start over one more time.
I'm not starting over. You guys are here, man. You about to learn business today. Business. But we started out with shouts out to Cynthia. She made the call to a podcast regular, Brittany, about getting this done for it. And the quality is so amazing. And I'm really, really excited about it.
I want to touch it and like tap it just so you guys can see the quality of it. However, we have it kind of propped up in a special way, and I don't want it to fall. But this is so awesome. If you can't see it, which you should,
1 million downloads.
1 million downloads and 300 episodes. And what's so interesting about this is when we hit the 300 episodes, David and I sat on a podcast and said, like babies, like children, nobody celebrated us. None of our friends said anything.
I think it might have turned into a lesson. Like, you got to celebrate yourself.
You got to celebrate yourself. And then Cynthia was behind the scenes working with Brittany on acknowledging that accomplishment. So that's really, really dope.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. Yo, you know what? Shouts out to Cynthia. There's one thing that I failed to do. I was in the moment at the Social Proof Alumni Affair, and she brought it to my attention. She was like, "Hey, man, you didn't thank your team." I only had the moment to like in the kind of like the moment of the nonprofit and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I did not thank the team.
Yeah. And I didn't. It wasn't until Dre and Ernestine mentioned Dre that I thought, oh man, I didn't thank Dre, because she's been really, really helpful in her patience and, just her allowing David to be out doing what he did. When Ernestine said it, I was so glad, because I forgot that. But you know what that means? This is the reason that when people speak and have these acknowledgments for the Grammys and Oscars, they have cue cards.
Cue cards, for sure.
You write it when you're not emotional so that you don't forget anybody.
Yeah. So I want to thank publicly the whole squad, anyone that like touches the Social Proof Podcast, anybody that's in here. Shouts out to Reese. He's in here with me every single day.
All day.
If you see a piece of content that was created on YouTube, reshot it in like really late nights, early mornings.
Reese is the man.
Reese is in here.
Reese is the man. What's up, Reese? What up, though?
What, man? You doing all right?
How's your mental health?
Stop taking my question. That's my question, Donni, that I actually got from somebody else.
How's your mental health?
I'm battling, but I always get through it.
Okay. Shall we elaborate, or?
Do you want to talk about it?
No. Off mic.
He said off mic.
Gotcha. Okay. We will talk about it, but next.
Just not on camera.
Oh,
we're going to talk about it on camera for sure.
It has nothing to do with what we were talking about. It's something else.
Huh?
It has nothing to do with what we were talking about yesterday.
I don't know what it is, but we're going to talk about it for sure. Only here's the thing, right? I talk about the things that I struggle with because I know it helps somebody else. But we'll give Reese a little time to prepare how you want to frame it. But we got to talk about it. Especially, like, people go through all kind of stuff. And we go through a lot of stuff. Like, Donni went through a depression last year and still came to the podcast and performed and was still working with her clients.
It was this year.
It was this year, earlier this year. Yeah, I'm actually still in a bit of a funk. Like, right now.
I bet you got a bunch of emotions right now.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, it's funky. I'm funky.
Your mental health smells.
Yeah. So Donni actually asked me yesterday. I was like, I mean, it's all right.
We still here.
We're still here. But it's not, I mean, I wish I could be the motivational speaker that says, yo, you just got to get through it and da-da-da. Yes, you do got to get through what you're getting through, but it's easier said than done. And it's easier telling somebody how you just got to push through than it is actually pushing through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's always easy to say that after the fact.
Oh, for sure.
Right? You got to, and then you can identify kind of the things that you did to push through. I've just learned to be intentional about forward movement.
Yeah.
Because you can sit in a funk for so long. Even, I was going through what I went through for like 6 months. And like, I've said in previous episodes, there was no reason for it. It should have been like the happiest time of my life. It was about 4 months. And I couldn't identify why I was feeling the way that I was feeling. But what I was grateful for was that I recognized that I was different. I recognized that I wasn't myself. Sometimes you can be so in a negative rut that you don't really even recognize that you're not yourself right now. So I did recognize it. And then I was just if I can recognize it, I can treat it.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm like, yeah, well, my mindset in that moment was be intentional. Like, don't let yourself go backwards. Like, you've worked way too hard to get where you are right now. Don't let yourself like blow this. So I decided to be super intentional. I wrote out how I felt, and then I wrote out all the things that make me feel amazing, because when you're in a rut, you forget what makes you feel good.
That's a hack.
You forget what makes you feel good. So I wrote in my journal a list of all the things that make me feel amazing. And every couple of days I was intentional. When I couldn't think and see clearly, I could see it on that list. So I went to that list, and if it was like, get my hair done, like, oh, let's get my hair done. If it was get a massage, if it was meditate, journal, go for a walk. I just wrote down those things that made me feel good. And that's like intentionally fighting back rather than just letting the funk take you down.
That's good. Remembering what makes you feel good and just go do that stuff.
And go do it. And it's hard to take it off the paper and actually do it, right? Yeah. So you've got to have your mental toughness. Even if your mental toughness isn't so tough, it's more of a discipline practice. You just got to be really like, I don't feel like doing this, but I'm going to do it. I don't feel like going to the nail salon, but I'm going to go get my nails done. There was one point during that where my nails grew out so long. Like, I needed a fill-in.
Are those the same nails from Black Equity Con?
Yeah, don't they look amazing?
I mean, you still got a bunch of nail under it.
Yeah, these are my real nails. Anyway, so my nails had grown out so long one time, and I was looking and looking and looking like, I really need to get my nails done. But I was in such a rut that I didn't care what my nails looked like. I didn't care what my hair looked like. So what ended up happening was I hit something and cracked my nail, and it started bleeding. So I had to go and get my nails done. And it took that. After the experience, I actually felt good. Like, oh, my nails are pretty. It was something to celebrate in that moment. And when you're going through ruts, you're not looking for amazing days necessarily. You're looking for great moments. And those great moments are going to keep pushing you through.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like what happens when you accomplish all the stuff that you set out to accomplish and you still don't feel good about it.
That's exactly what I was going through.
Like the time that you're having the most success you've ever had financially. Let's say you desired to be in a relationship and you're in a relationship, but it's something. I can't put my finger on it, but I can't shake this thing. I'm just in a rut. It's like I'm walking through it's like a haze almost. Like you're just going through the day. And when it's time to perform, you perform. It's all good. When it's time to go, you know, to do your work, you do your work. But when it's all over, my wife said to me yesterday, actually, she said, I could tell you're stressed out because you haven't laughed in a few days.
Aww.
Haven't laughed in a few days.
What was your response to that?
That was my whole response. But I mean, I'm going through like, so it's just like business transition stuff. It's like business transition, then baby coming, and it's a lot. It's a lot on me, and I just not myself. And since my mom passed, I literally have not been the same.
I am so glad that you just said that. I am so glad that you just said that, because Dre and I talk behind your back, and we know that. We know that to be super true, and we've just been waiting for you to say that out loud. And
why ain't nobody asked me? I do it.
Well, no, we have. I've asked you, but at some point,
What'd you say?
I've asked David, "Are you okay? Are you dealing with your mom's loss?" You didn't want to. Your response to it in those moments was so like, "Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good." Like you didn't want to talk about it, so it's a hard thing for your friends and the people who love you. Like, I know he's going through it, and I know why he's going through it. Like, I know with the baby coming tomorrow, what you must be feeling about your mom, right? But I don't want to ask you, because before, when I was asking you, it was like, the response was like, yes, shut up, move on. You know what I mean? So when do we talk about it again?
That's how I handle all my problems.
Yes, I know. Exactly.
Just sweep them under the rug.
Sweep it under the rug. So, you know, we see it. But for us, it's like, as long as we stay close, you know, get him out of the house, do this, do that. Behind your back, we're figuring out things that we can do. But nobody mentioned the elephant in the room because you don't want to talk about it.
Oh, yeah. But I know I think I said that to Dre, actually, one time. Like, it's just, I can't, it's not like I think about it and I get depressed. Yeah. It's not like I'm going through pictures and I feel away. It's just, I've just not, it changed me, and I don't know
if you ever come back.
Yeah, so I felt it when my dad passed, but not as much. But yeah, I don't know. Sure
I mean, maybe also because your mom was actually around much longer, so
Correct.
she got to
stay with me. Yeah.
She got to be a part of so many of your major moments as an adult. So I could see how that's different. But I'm so glad you said that. You saying that out loud on this podcast, for me, like, I can't wait to call Dre and tell her that you said this, because to me, that's a huge sign of growth. Because you are a master ignorer. You'll just internalize everything and deal with nothing out loud. And so the people who love you, like me and Dre and all your family and friends, worry about you.
Really? What are you worried I might do? Or what are you
I'm not worried that you will do anything to yourself. Like, I've never thought like David's going to jump, you know, nothing like that. But I have worried, like, negative emotions and just sadness and grief, it eats you alive. Like, it's hard to deal with. And sometimes you want to know that somebody else has experienced it, you know? And because I have not experienced that, it's kind of like difficult. So when you're going through things, as I imagine, you want to talk to people who know. Like, it's one thing for me to say, Dave, it's going to be okay. And you're over there like, yeah, but you don't know what this feels like. And that's the truth. So we've just been, you know, worried. Like, you've been, it's reflected in your attitude. For sure.
Explain.
You've been real short. You've been real short. You've had a lot more down days. I don't know if you remember one day last year on an episode, I said, I've never seen David angry. I've seen you angry a lot lately.
I don't know if you could call it angry.
I've seen you bothered, frustrated. Sure. But there was a time last year, I'm like, I've never seen David angry. I've never seen him like raise his voice. He's never super serious. You're always jolly and moving around and really light energy. You can tell that just something is different. But I believe that what you're going through, I don't feel like it's like abnormal. Like, we got to do like checks, knock on the room, knock on the door. Right. There's none of that. I just feel like you're going through the process of grief and you lost a major person. Yeah. Like this isn't somebody who you knew from high school and you hadn't seen them in 20 years kind of deal. You lost somebody close. We expect this. We just want you to know that we're here.
Listen, if I was going to teach you how to make $1 million, would you give me 10,000? Like if I had a course teach you how to make $1 million a year positive, you're going to make $1 million, would you give me 10,000? Of course you would. It's no brainer, right? So in a calendar year, we make 7 figures with the podcast. But there's 21 things that I extracted from that you're going to need to launch your podcast. But I only got time to give you 3 right now. One is you need a distribution platform. The distribution platform is what you upload your podcast to. That platform sends it to Spotify, Apple, Google Play, so that your supporters can actually listen to your podcast. You're also going to need a microphone. You need a really good microphone so it's crispy audio. And 3, you need an income strategy. This is not necessarily a hobby, unless you're going to make it a hobby. But I can teach you how I made the 7 figures with these 21 things. Now, the good news is you don't have to give me 10,000. My ebook is only $37, okay? So listen, go to podcastebook.com and get the 21 things that you need. And I can explain it in detail, all the things that you need, okay? Podcastebook.com. Let's get to the episode.
Good. And you can talk to us.
Oh, I appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Give me a round of applause. I appreciate it. For having someone here. No, but it's rough. And I think what I'm going through is no more or less than what anyone else is going through. I think life hits us all in a very unique way. Mm-hmm. And we've just got to do our very best to manage it. And everybody that you see and you think their life is amazing and you know, they don't go through what I'm going through, or maybe not the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But we all go through some stuff that's hard to get off of our back. But we got to find something in there to keep our sanity. And I think for me, one of the things that allows me to just kind of wake up, well, a couple things. One, the appreciation of my family now. And primarily, and I hate to put it this way, but my baby. Mm-hmm. It's like, when I'm with her, like the whole world just gets quiet for a minute and we're just in this moment and we can play and laugh and it's like the joy. And I'm like, this is what keeps me going. I was telling somebody, I think having a child, before I had a child, I thought when you have a child, it makes you go hard as an entrepreneur. Oh, now I got to go provide and create this legacy. It doesn't, not for me. It's like, I'm going home. I just been a couple days, me and Reese were supposed to do some stuff, and I'm like, Reese, I'm out. I'm going to the crib, bro. Yeah, for sure. And that's, you know, that I'm able to lean into my loved ones and maybe lean away from work easier. But also the joy of actually building something is very, very exciting for me. Being able to, that's why like we're kind of having a conversation with being able to invest in entrepreneurs, because if we can invest not just money, but time and guidance so we can see something grow. Did an episode with my brother, my actual brother. And I've been talking to this guy for 5-10 years about being an entrepreneur. He's the best HVAC person I've ever met. So heating and air. Anytime I have an issue at my house, he comes to fix it. Even sometimes he gets busy and I have to call somebody else and they can never fix it and he got to come back and like clean up their work. He's just dope. And for 5 or 10 years, he's been talking like, yo, you know, I'm going to do this thing on my own. I'm going to go out and kind of be this entrepreneur and, you know, do my own thing, because he's always worked for a company. But we've been doing this for like 5 years, right? So he comes on, he called me one night and asked me a question. I'm like, yo, stop asking me questions right now. Come to the studio. We're going to record it because we need to have this conversation. Just so happened, Marcus Y. Rozier was here and Donni was here. And we got a chance to jump him with information.
Tag team.
Oh, man.
And what?
And what? What you going to do?
What's up? What's next? What's up? What and?
We got off the phone yesterday, actually, and he actually went, and he's been talking about this truck, getting a truck so he can kind of actually do work for like 5 years. And yesterday he's like, yo, I found one. I'm about to go get it tomorrow, actually today. He finally got his website up, like with all his information. Like he's ready as a new zeal for life. And I'm like, yo, this is amazing.
This is amazing.
To be able to see it and impact people. So, I didn't write it down. I need to write it down, but I found some things that that not take my mind off of it, but that I can lean into that make me feel really, really good. And a lot of times that has nothing to do with me.
So, don't run away from it. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother passed away 3 months before I was born. My mom was 23 years old and it was a sudden, unexpected death. She did not smoke a cigarette a day in her life and was diagnosed with lung cancer and died shortly after her surgery. Gosh. Right. And so, she died right after her surgery. My mom, as I remember her telling the story, after the surgery was going home to like get stuff, preparing for her to come home, and she gets a call and like, you need to come back to the hospital now. So this was a very sudden, death. I say that to say I am 43 years old. My grandmother passed 43 years ago and my mom is still not past it. You get what I mean? It's never going to be, and she's moved on through life, but it's like, man, you didn't get to see my daughter. Man, you didn't get to see this happen. Man, you didn't get to see this happen. And there's things that are happening with my life. And now she looks at her relationship with my daughter being a grandma. And then that, when my daughter was born, it kind of made her sad a little bit. She's happy my daughter is born, but she's sad that her mom didn't get to experience that with me. So there's different things that are always going to be reminders. Every single year at her birthday, it's like, tread lightly. Every single year that commemorates the death of her passing, tread lightly. And I try to do things, and just last week was my grandmother's birthday. And I feel guilty a lot because I forget this stuff. I never met my grandma. She passed. And so I made it intentional to put her birthday on my calendar as a reminder, like I do everything else. And the alert comes up, and I talked to my mom before I got alerted. And she was just kind of, talking, she wasn't sad, but she wasn't her normal self doing this. And so I get off the phone with her and then I get the alert and I'm like, dang, I forgot. And I want to acknowledge it because when you lose someone close, what I do know, I've grieved someone close. And when you lose someone close, you don't want to, one of the hardest things to feel like is that you're the only person who remembers them. Like there's no more conversation about them. So I was really disappointed in myself that I forgot to start the call off with, today's my grandmother's birthday. So I called her back and we do that. And me and Kenny are like, we're taking her to lunch. She doesn't want to go to lunch. I'm like, well, we're taking you to dinner. She's like, no, I just want to kind of sit in the house and do nothing. Right. And it's bothering me all day. 43 years ago. She's like, no, I just want to sit in the house and do nothing. And I'm like, Ma, come on. Until I was I remember growing up and it was just, don't mention my grandma because it made my mom so sad. So I don't even know a whole lot about her. Like we talk about her more and more now. She's really, since my daughter has been born, she's kind of started talking about her. But growing up, it was like, she'd tell me things when she was ready to tell me something, but don't ask her about it because she'd get really sad. And then I'm scared to make her cry and, things like that. So anyway, my family and we talk a whole lot more about her now. And apparently I'm just like her, look just like her, act just like her. My gift of communication comes from her. I found that out 5 years ago, Anyway, so I say that to say it's something that is never going to, the pain, for her every year, it feels like it just happened. That doesn't get easier. It's just you go longer without the breakdowns. The time passes and you'll think wow, it's been 2 weeks and I haven't gotten overly emotional or, things just kind of happen.
Here's my question around that. And you said, don't kind of run away from it. And I'm not suggesting that you should run away from it, but leaning into other things, is that is it a good thing to continue to remind yourself about a scenario that happened that doesn't make you feel good?
Yeah. But I think that when it's like this, you don't remind yourself of the death that happened. You remind yourself of the life they lived.
which makes you like more sad. Mm-hmm. Kind of runs you deeper into a hole.
For now, but you have to learn how.
Not even for now. I mean, for your mom, it's 43 years.
She can talk about her now, though, right? She's still like on birthdays, anniversary of the death. It's a hard day. We ended up, she didn't want to go to lunch that day. And I had to put my foot down, like, Mom, we're going somewhere. Like, I can't just let you, I'm like, you want us to come upstairs and watch movies? My mom has a condo in my building upstairs. I'm like, you want us to come upstairs and watch movies? No, I just want to, just be by myself. So we ended up forcing her. If I dangle a steak in my mama's face, if I dangle a ribeye, a juicy bone-in ribeye in my mom's face, she's going to make a move. So we ended up going out and we played this dinner game and she laughed for 2 hours.
Wow.
And whether she went back home and was in a funk or not, for 2 hours, I know that she had some relief, and that made us all feel better, right? And she still talks about, oh, that game was so fun. That was a whole week ago. So I say, I don't think that you should try to avoid it. And I don't think that you should dive into other things. Like, Sarai has become your security blanket. Mm-hmm. Before your mom passed, you were like, oh, you want to hold her? Here, you want to hold her? And now it's like, where's my baby? I want to hold her. No, I got her. You know what I mean? So she's become your security blanket, and you got to be careful of that too. I can't tell you, nobody can tell you how to grieve. This grieving experience is going to be yours, but don't think that you can't think about your mom and think about her often. It's not even been a year, right? Right. So this is still very fresh. You'll be able to think about her right now. You'll think about her right now and get really sad. And then one day you're going to wake up and realize, man, I think about her now and I actually feel really good about it.
You know what's crazy? This conversation actually makes me feel good. It felt like just maybe 30 seconds ago, it felt like it was like a weight lifted. Because someone's talking and you're looking at them, but your mind is somewhere, right? And I just kind of saw a picture of myself in a funk. And I'm like, man, I should be celebrating life of like people. And the fact that I had my mom for a while. Like you didn't have your grandma at all your entire life. I mean, I had my grandma for a while. I was grown when she passed, right?
Sarai got to meet her, be held by her.
Pictures and stuff
pictures.
Like that.
I don't have any of that. And growing up, that was difficult for me. I used to cry. So maybe Psalm, maybe even Sarai, because she probably doesn't, she won't remember, right? She'll have pictures and things, but I used to cry growing up. Like, I wish I had a grandma, because I didn't have a relationship with my biological father, but I did have a relationship with his father, my grandfather. But the woman that he was married to, though I acknowledged her as my grandmother because that's all I knew, she wasn't my paternal grandmother, right? So I didn't have grandparents for real. And even with my paternal grandfather, I didn't see him until I was a teenager. Like, I didn't meet him until I was a teenager. So I didn't grow up with grandparents. And that was, I grieved. My mom losing her mom, it was like, I wish I knew people, like my friends would be at their grandparents for the summer. And, I never experienced that. So that's something that you can't ignore it. You want to talk about it. And then my mom wouldn't talk about her. She would briefly say things. Don't do that, because it becomes a difficult weight for your children too. And then they don't know how to talk and ask questions. And can we look at pictures and do all these things? So keep her very much alive in your conversation. But the grief, it doesn't go away.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away.
This is a really good conversation.
You have something? Sure.
Got something.
My upbringing. Yeah, I lost a parent, and one perspective that has really helped me, like how David said that the conversation, it made him feel happy. The thing that comforts me is like some of the dreams that I have, without getting too deep, like help me to understand my father's happiness now, like right now, comforts me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Versus what I knew of and what I was aware of that happened leading up to his departure. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've gotten revelation of his happiness now. Like, he's happy now. That's I'm comforted by that.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
How do y'all handle this kind of stuff? Have y'all had to go through it? Yeah. No, you have? Yeah. How do you handle it?
Basically, like you said, just keep on staying busy. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. because it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just
We can't zoom that out more. Zoom it all the way out.
like I lost about 4 or 5 people in my family like a year and a half ago. It was all kind of back to back. So to me, it was just trying to get out of a rut or, stay out of a rut.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing is basically I just stayed busy.
All right, listen, every single week, every episode, you hear me talking about themorningmeetup.com. It's the community. Let me show you what's happening here. Every single morning, Monday through Friday, there's 400 plus people on a Zoom call, right? We're learning, we're talking, we're growing together, and this is you. There's all these people here. It's all these people in the morning meetup. Hundreds of people reading books, growing. We get together quarterly. It's amazing. And for some reason, you just keep looking at, just go to themorningmeetup.com and get in the circle. And then you'll be like way happier. Just themorningmeetup.com. Let's get back to the episode.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that works. That works for some people. I think it works for me, honestly. Because if I just sit there too long idle, then it gets hard. It becomes harder for me to get up. You know what I mean? Like the longer you sit there, the longer it takes to actually get up. And again, that's the thing that, like, I guess I don't know if something worked for me or not. I don't know. But the way I've been living my life, I would imagine that it's working because I can lean into something that I love.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like trying to get, people out of my mind. Every now and again, I'll go through pictures of my mom, and it's not that I cry, but it's like to remember, wow, let me operate in gratefulness. Thank God that I had all this time with my mom.
Listen, your mom was on your heels until she could not be on your heels anymore.
Oh, man.
Like traveling with us, not feeling well. She loved you so much. She was so proud of you. And the one thing that I think is great about your experience is that you had the time, like you knew that it was coming so you could prepare. And she was able to prepare the people around you. Mm-hmm. She even told me in LA, she's like, thank you for being in my son's life. He's going to need you very soon. And I'm like, oh my God.
Did she say that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She said, thank you for being in my son's life. He's going to need you very soon. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, take care of my son. Those are the words. I said, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So your mom you had her, and we never want to lose our parents. Because I always say that whenever that day comes, like just throw me off the cliff too. Because me and my mom are close, like so close that we live in the same condo building. I have lived in her space for my whole life, just about. And I don't understand your grief. Like I understand it, but I don't know that grief, right? Nobody is going to be able to tell you what you should or shouldn't do. I can only give you my idea based on like what I've seen. I lost a boyfriend when I was in college age, and I know how that felt. The woman
like
who
lost one to the streets, or lost one like
he died in a car accident.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, and I lost.
How long did y'all have like a deep
we were high
relationship?
school. Yeah. Like we were the high school kind of sweethearts, and we kind of separated for a little bit, but came back together. We had just gotten back together. But we had like the plans with the neighborhood that we were going to build and all this stuff. And I'm still really close to his little brother who looks just like him. So for me today, I say it never goes away. Sometimes I can talk to him just fine. Like we communicate a lot on social media. And then sometimes he'll post a picture and I got to log off of social media real fast. Like because he looks just like him.
Wow.
Yeah, looks just like him. So it's scary, but I've obviously moved on with my life, right? But you still have a moment that will remind you of the pain that you felt when that happened. So don't push that away and don't feel like anything is wrong. Your grief experience is your grief experience. Being able to have this conversation publicly like this, the whole world, our whole world is about to see it. To me, that's a major step. Like, David is okay. He's grieving.
I think and maybe we can add some value to some people.
I think they have gotten some value.
100%. I think one thing I always operate out of, and I think it may be a gift of mine, to be rooted in gratefulness. So like even in business or, something like that, if I lose something, my mind automatically moves to something that I have. So being grateful for every scenario and understanding that life is not fun. It's not just a constant party. You know what I mean? Like life is just life. And it's the same way for everybody, no matter your social status, where you live. Like we go through some things, right? But there are people being, they're like mass executions in, where was it? Is it Iran or something like that? Mm-hmm. Mass executions where these college students, they stood up for what they believed in, and now I think it's like 15,000 people going to be executed for protesting.
I saw that. Yeah, I'm about to pull that up. Was that Iran? Because I don't want us to seem... It is Iran?
Yeah, okay. That's wild. Can you imagine living that life? That is someone's mother out there, someone's father, someone's son, someone's daughter, someone's brother. Imagine a group of people that are going, and this is where my mind was at, like the mother, the son, and the two daughters all go out there because they believe in something, and the father stays home. But now that father loses the whole family. I couldn't even imagine. Now, not to diminish me losing my mother, but things could be a lot worse. Mm-hmm. Like I'll take that over something happening to my whole family. Like imagine somebody who's they're at home and their family is in a tragic accident. Now you're all alone. Who do you lean into? Who do you give your love to? Who do you talk to? Like, I can't even imagine. And I think that for me is a gift from God, being able to have a positive mindset, even in the darkest times. That's why, like, when we start talking about mindset, it's so important.
So important. And environment, also 100%. So important. When you said that, I immediately thought about Vanessa Bryant and the day that she lost Kobe and her daughter. Like, and Gianna, I could not imagine, like, you lose your husband and your baby in the same freak accident, and there was somebody else whose whole family just perished. The owner of one of the co-founders of Gold's Gym was on a plane. Him, his wife, and their children, and some other people with their families. The plane crashes, and they all perish in this flight. Like, there's always levels, and I don't want to be insensitive by saying if you lose a friend is different than losing that. Like, everybody's grief is different, and you know that you don't have to be blood to be family, but it could always be, it could have been sudden. Yeah, it could have been a sudden death.
100%.
You had time to prepare, and you're never prepared, but you had time. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Yes, sir.
Well, I'm part of one of the biggest families in my hometown from upstate New York, and I've lost a lot of people. I lost my brother in a car accident, lost my grandfather, a couple of my uncles, cousins. And one of the things that I've learned to do is to make the most out of my life while I still have it. That's one of the ways that I believe that I can be able to honor them. There's an African proverb that says it takes a village to raise a child. And that's part of the village that raised me. So I have a responsibility to take this baton and to finish the race, or to, run my lap or my part of the race until it's time for me to pass it on to somebody else.
Absolutely. 100%, man. I think that would be a major lesson from this whole conversation. That even if you lose something, you still have something.
You still have something.
Go for it.
I was going to say the other thing that I want you to think about is when this happened, you were in a financial situation to make it the best of the rest of her days. Yeah. Like, you were in position to really do that. And that's something, you took care of your mom at the end. Like, that's a really powerful thing. You got to take care of your mom at the end. Some people still broke as a joke and just watching things happen to the people who they love and can't do anything.
Yeah. You know what I'm even more grateful for is it wasn't just the end.
Yes, and it wasn't just the end.
We were able to do some really, really cool stuff and have really, really cool memories. And after that, believe it or not, we'll be like out somewhere, right? Anywhere I'm with Dre, and we'll be out somewhere. She'll be like, oh, no, let's take a picture. Let's take a picture. I'm like, okay, all right. Oh, buddy, son, let's take a picture. Let's take a picture. I'm like, all right. I don't want to take no more pictures.
Is this Dre or Mom?
Dre.
Yes.
Dre. Oh my gosh. But as I'm going through all my pictures, I understand now. So anytime like we're in the middle of something and all the food comes, I grab my fork and I'm about to dig in. She said, whoa, let's take a picture. It used to frustrate me. But now I remember these are all assets. These are all like things that that will be able to serve me later, right? Taking the picture. She understands that this moment will not last forever. We won't always have this moment. I get it now.
Is that you?
Oh, that's me for sure. The joy that says, when I'm starving and they tell me to wait, let's take a picture. Y'all look at that, Reese. Hold on. Y'all see that? I'm sure y'all see that meme somewhere. But absolutely.
Take a picture. Now, the next challenge I'm going to encourage you to do is...
I'm sorry, real quick. This one isn't yours, right? Where's yours?
Mine's right here.
Okay, cool. I don't play them games.
Because you could have had it after that. The next thing I'm going to challenge you to do is print the pictures out. Start with the pictures of your...
Where?
In a photo album.
I got an iCloud.
So here's something that I'm coming to realize, right? Just like the pictures bring you some comfort.
Yes.
All right. So if something happens to you, all of your memories are on your iCloud. The other thing is, before the iCloud came, we had SD cards and, other forms of large memory storage, popular options. When's the last time you looked at your pictures specifically on your SD card? Talking about your family vacations, your trips with your friends, all these things that you have saved on an SD card. And then I know I have a few SD cards that no longer can work with today's technology. Like even the adapter can't adapt it. So print these photos out.
Yo, you know what? Oh my gosh. Thank you. I remember moments I go to my grandma's house and on the coffee table, what do we find?
Photo album.
Photo album.
Yeah.
And I remember these moments around the holidays where we crack open the photo album and everybody's sitting around and my grandma got stories and my aunt and my uncle and my mom, they got these stories about what happened in this particular picture. Mm-hmm. We're going to print that out.
Print it out. So this year for Christmas, I am going through just starting with what I have on my phone for my family because I got SD cards in storage. I got SD cards in storage that I have to figure out how to get these memories from. But I'm going to start right with the photos that I have in my phone. And I'm gifting each of my family households, like my close family, that I'm gifting them photo albums. And we're all going to have our family photo album, all the same pictures. And I'm going to give them all these photo albums because it's one thing to go through the...
How do you do it?
So you can print it off at you can do it manually at Walgreens and CVS. They still got Photoshops.
There got to be a service.
There is a service where you can send, but you got to give them, you got to either upload all your stuff or you have to give them access. I mean, we can just hire somebody, a VA, local or not even a VA. We can hire someone that says, hey, go through all these photos because I got a couple of photos that I don't want anybody going through. Right? There could be some sketch in the iCloud, but no. I've been saying it for 3 years minimally. I'm going to print these photos off and gift it as photo app. But as we're sitting here and we're having this conversation, I'm like, it has to happen this year because if anything happens, this iCloud is my iCloud. The only person who has access to this is my daughter. She's the only person, right? Well, things happen and who knows if she will print it off. So after her, all these memories right here go away.
Here's what we do. Okay, my entrepreneur brain is entrepreneur and Yo, I feel like we need to find a company that like almost tried to do that and they got the equipment and just like buy them. That would be so lit. Imagine a place that you know of, and maybe they have it, but like you can put together, like I have a folder, like I was putting together a folder of my mom in my phone, right? If I can send those pictures to a place and not only do they print them out, but they have like these little albums and they actually put the little joints together. That'd be a real service.
Now, I don't know that anybody will actually put them in the album for you. Our company. Okay, social photos.
Let me see.
Buy it. Socialphotos.com. We don't have it yet, but anyway, no. But yeah, and these photo albums, you will still go to somebody, a family reunion, and they bring in the photo albums out, and it's super dope, super cool. But your life deserves to be on pictures. Like, that's how we know so much about our history. That's how we know so much about our ancestors. It wasn't because their pictures were stored in the cloud. We got printed photos that we're able to see, touch, feel. And when you guys get them printed on quality paper. Like I recommend, like Kodak's old paper, Fujifilm paper, quality paper, not that cheap instant print stuff, because you'll lose the quality of the image over time. Get it printed on, like invest some money in this. This is your life and it deserves to be documented and last like way beyond you.
All right,
what you got?
Shutterfly does it.
They put it in a photo album too?
Yeah.
All right, shout out to Shutterfly. What's good?
Shout out to Shutterfly. What are we talking about? Okay. Nah, that's lit, man. Golly.
Now you got something to be excited about working on.
And it like really gives like meaning. You know what I mean? This feels like just having that moment of, I just remember sitting around with the kids and like we're just all there, like just so astonished at how bad quality these are for that moment. You know what I mean? Like this picture's old looking.
Yeah.
Right? Well, our pictures look old looking in 20 years?
Yes.
But they're so HD right now.
They're so lit right now. Just like,
right.
Just like
so
they used to be.
Yeah,
but you can also kind of guess. Like I know in my family, we do the same thing. And as small kids, you'd be like, here they go with these photo albums again. Don't nobody want to hear about these people I ain't never met in my life, right?
I used to love it though.
Me too, I did.
Especially if you got one of those family members that's like always got a funny story around something.
My family always has funny stories. And you would look up and it's literally the difference between having conversation or no conversation at all. Like after eating or whatever, you'll find that y'all just spent 3 hours going through, and you can, in your mind, you can see these people and you can see the scene. But also there are sometimes, because what my family has done very well is always date the photos on the back. Like back in the day, we used to take pictures, get them printed like days later, and you can write your dates on the back. But also with the printed ones, you get a gauge. If you forget when something happened, you can look at the quality of the print and say, oh, that had to be in the 70s.
Yeah. We're going to do that? We're
going to do it. When are you going to have...
a little business. We can figure that out. We can figure that out and just market it with emotion. You see the commercial?
We can right now just encourage all these beautiful people to do it.
Yeah, just do it. Okay, for right
just
now.
Go do it. I don't know if that's, I don't know if that's the idea.
Okay.
Speaking of the ideas, well, before we even move on to that, how do you feel?
I feel amazing.
Do you?
I feel a lot better right now. And it's like one of those betters where you didn't know anything was wrong, but everything wasn't amazing. But now I feel amazing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh my gosh, I'm sad and I'm depressed. You know, something's on your mind, and then maybe you have a conversation with somebody or something happens, and you feel better, but it wasn't that something was going on. It was just, I don't know. I'm just here. I'm just out here. But actually, I feel really, really good.
You know what? And I want you guys to take away from this. One of the reasons why you feel so good is it's not even that you just got stuff off your chest. You did. But now you have an action step to follow up. Like you've got a project to work on. And so when you guys find that you're having conversations and you're still feeling as bad, like maybe attach an action to it. Just like I did when I was going through my funk and I'd written out this list and I go and put an action to it. Now you have a major project to work on, and it's going to take you a while. And the experience and the emotions that you're going to feel, the happiness, the laughing you're going to do now, because you know why you're not just looking at pictures.
Yep.
why you're looking at these pictures.
Maybe this could be like a family event. Like me, Dre, we sit down. Corey, she got her own phone. We just start gathering all of these pictures that we want in this. The photo album's going to be huge because, we just got access to more pictures now. But it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome.
And I want the one I was looking at, it's like kind of like high quality. I want the little sleeves.
The sleeve, you slide
the
joints
I want
in.
the sleeve. That's exactly what I want.
And wherever you keep your books on your bookshelf, just pop your photo albums right on in there.
For sure. Nah, I want the little coffee table.
Coffee table joint?
Yo, we are, coffee table.
Do y'all have a coffee table?
No.
I didn't think so. I'm
we just got a little, what's that
the
called?
Ottoman?
Audemars?
No.
It is.
No,
it's not called that?
That's a watch.
Audemars is a watch. It's a
You have an Ottoman.
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 Ottoman or Ottoman?
Ottoman. Ottoman.
We have an Ottoman. That's the cushion couch thing that goes in front of the couch.
Yeah, that's.
I love that thing.
Yes, the Ottoman.
Because it's like just feels like one big couch. Yeah, for sure. Oh, where am I gonna put the coffee table?
Well, you can get a side table.
Side table. Sarai's gonna ruin it. She's gonna get a hold of it. She's gonna get a hold of them sleeves. It's over.
That room up front when you first walk in, make that like your.
Oh no, that's her playroom.
Yeah, I'm like she'll ruin that too.
Fireplace mantle. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you not have a fireplace? I got a little fireplace mantle.
Fireplace mantle.
I like that.
You can also, like, I see people have like chests, like storage chests that are decorative. That means that they look great and they go with the interior design.
Not decorative, it's decorative. It is decorative.
Sorry, say it louder for the people in the back.
Okay, go ahead. All right, so can we get to what you were going to talk about?
Yeah, so that leads me to, I forgot.
A very insensitive transition.
Oh, God. So
it's hard to talk about this after what we talked about for the last 50 minutes.
I'm glad that you feel good. Hey, you guys, like, especially with the season. Especially with the season of the year that we're in right now. I think this conversation was right on time because we're at that peak period where I think it's this, and fact check me on this, but I believe I don't know this is a fact, but I believe that I saw that this is the highest suicide time of year.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Because people get really, really, like, they get so sunken into grief with the holidays because of all these memories that you had, and it just becomes really difficult. And then also at the end of the year, a lot of job layoffs and money changes and all that stuff. So
and people overspend to make other people happy, and it's just...
Yeah. So if you are in a funk, you are in a rut, don't try to necessarily solve the funk, I think. Try to figure out things that make you happy, things that bring you some joy, even if just for an hour, and just life. Yeah. Like, just live your life. But you got these negative things. That's why prayer and meditation and just writing is so important, because when so many negative things happen to us automatically. Like you get up out of bed, you stump your toe. I know for me, I don't use an alarm clock, but on days where I absolutely have to, it's like an instant headache for me. I don't use an alarm because that startle, it gives me a headache. So things are going to happen that just happen, right? In a funk. You've got to be happy isn't coincidence. Happy isn't like something that just happens. Happiness is intentional. You got to be really, really intentional about finding your happy and living in your happy and acknowledging your happy moments. That's why I'm so big on celebration. Yeah. I'm so big on celebrating because the negative thoughts are harder to deal with. Anything that's harder to deal with stays on your mind the most. So let's go do that lunch. Let's go have that dinner. Let's go celebrate in this moment. So you don't feel like life sucks. Just maybe there are some moments that suck just a little bit.
Yeah. So now do you want to transition to your greedy capitalistic conversation?
You're the person who was just trying to buy Shutterfly out.
I was.
You were just trying to infringe upon their trademark.
This is what makes me happy. This is what makes me happy.
Yeah. So, in all seriousness, like, I think that this conversation probably served a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
But there is something that we have pending that we need to talk about. I think we have enough time to do it.
Yeah, so what you got?
We have some money that we need to invest. Mm-hmm. We have some money that we need to invest, and I created a post.
Oh yeah, I want to go through your post. I didn't see it.
I created a post. Oh
man. What happened?
This woman that I've been following through her brain cancer journey just passed today.
Oh no.
Yeah. First thing I saw when I logged in.
Oh, you've known her?
No, I don't know her at all, but I was very connected to her story. Her and her husband just had like the coolest life. And I found it so interesting because as I understand it, she's been battling brain cancer for like 7 years.
Wow.
And they had only been married for like 3. Like met and been married for like 3. And
so she was going through that for 4 years. Before.
And I just thought it was so cool that like love, man, you just can't deny it. Like some people would say, no, I can't, this won't last long, right? But he married her and they had a beautiful life together. And then she just suddenly started to decline like very, very rapidly. Wow. Yeah. Anywho.
We can't, we'll save it for the next conversation.
Yeah, we can't go.
Yeah, it's kinda,
I think this is, sorry, you guys. We had a heavy conversation, but clearly there was some things that we needed to get off of our chest.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody here for allowing me to have this conversation. Like, I just feel like this conversation was for me, and I'm going to go home with another zeal because I have been in kind of a funk. We've been having all kind of changes in business and personal and all kind of stuff going on. So I'm going to go home and enjoy my family.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a great rest of the day.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
An amazing day. And I can't wait now to get home. So I've got all these albums in my phone, but I'm going to create now an album. And it's so perfect because I just cleared out all the junk on my iCloud, in my photo album of my iCloud. So I'm going to go now and create an album that's like to print. I'm going to name the album To Print. And I'm going to start moving pictures there. So when I'm ready to print them, I just do it all at one time. I'm going to go on Amazon and find me some photo albums, maybe even get a custom photo album made or something like that.
We need to put it in our group chat. Like with me, you, Ernestine, like we need to put it all in the group chat.
Yeah.
We're all gonna do it together.
We're all gonna do it together.
Maybe we get together.
Maybe we get together.
Event.
Yes. And make it really, really nice and just do it. That'll be fun.
So just sit there going through your pictures and like moving them over to an album and stuff like that. Yeah, we'll have a little
moving and then this time next year you'll be sharing your albums with your family instead of being like, here, pass my phone over there. Can you see? Yeah, we flipping through the photo books.
We flip pages.
We flip pages around here.
Pictures
back to the
and
basics.
Sleeves and stuff. Anybody got anything to share before we wrap up?
Has this episode helped you guys at all? Like anybody?
Helped me for sure.
Didn't help you.
Help me. Anybody got anything to share before we wrap up? No? Okay, y'all good?
Any realization you had being in this conversation? You want to say something, girl. She keep like...
I felt like she was about to cry a little bit earlier. The emotion was there.
Yes, because I've lost a few family members within the last few years. And my family's always pushing me to take pictures and stuff. And I'm like, another picture? Like, yeah. Because to me, looking back on it makes me sad. Because I'm like, I just miss them. Yeah. But looking back on their life, I think, like you guys mentioned, and really just taking the time to be grateful for the life that they had with me is A1. So I appreciate this conversation.
Perspective, for sure.
All right. You want to start selling some stuff now? Go ahead. Close us out with a sponsorship.
You guys can find out how to work with me or Dave in the comments below, in the details below this post. I can't. I want to shout out anybody who feels like they're going through stuff.
Yes.
And who thinks that everybody else has it made. You have the perfect life. Like you're so lucky and all these things. We're all lucky. We're all blessed. We're all going through stuff. We are all living this human experience together. All figuring it out, right? We're just all figuring it out. And I just want to encourage you to keep pushing, keep fighting, and keep focused, stay focused on things that improve your mental health. Get the right people around you. Get the wrong people from around you. Get the wrong people are the people who don't even recognize that there's a problem. The wrong people are the people who tell you, oh, just get over it. The wrong people are the people who prioritize how they feel about what you're going through over what you feel about what you're going through. Get those people from around you and get people around you who want to embrace you, who want to help you, who want to have conversations about it and help you come up with ideas to soothe your pain. Like nothing makes the pain go away. It's a lifer.
Yeah.
It's a lifer. Grief is for life. Nothing makes it go away. But we are here to support you. We are sending you all of the well wishes and the love and the virtual hugs from the Social Proof Podcast.
I got something too I want to that just hit my spirit. That like my wife, she be wanting to go to what's it called? What's the one in Florida? Disney World? Is it Disney World Land? Yeah. So she likes going there. She wants to take the kids there, but it'd be so hot in the summertime in Florida, and I just don't want to go. I never want to go. I told her I'm not going back. Seriously. I'm like, yo, it'd be so hot and sweaty out there. It's just too much. But I will encourage everybody to do something that you will thank yourself for doing in the future. Like, so all these trips with your family or like I'm proud that I remember I gave my mom a credit card, an American Express card, and said, you keep that. So if you want to buy some food, use that. Like if you need some stuff from the grocery store, use that, right? I'm happy that I did that. Or like every month we like go to lunch. I'm happy that I did that. So now that she's not here, these are some like memories that I can lean into. So I think we all need to go home or like just make some calls. Like I wish I'd have called my dad more before he passed, right? I wish we had this call time every week, right? That I would be excited to say, whoa, I remember some of the conversations that I had when he was here. So I think it's very, very important that we start thinking not about today. And as entrepreneurs, we just be going.
Yeah.
Like we build stuff and we forget people.
Yeah.
We forget people. And like my brother will call and I just won't, like I missed the call and I'm like, I'm doing something and I won't call him back for a week or two. Right. And he called the other day and I remember, yo, this is my brother. I want to pick up the phone. I want to be able to say when he calls, I'll pick up the phone. I want to be able to say like I helped him through this process of like getting, if anything happens, right? So let's start thinking about that. I know we're building this dream, but let's not forget about the people. I was watching a Steve Jobs movie and the relationship. And when I watched the movie at first, I'm like, whoa, it's just a movie. He's just busy building his dream. He didn't really have that relationship with his daughter. But now that I have a daughter, I'm like, right, you're a villain. Not, I mean, rest in peace, Steve, but I'm just saying like seeing that's not, I don't want to be that. Where I'm working so hard and I'm grinding and building, like everybody else in the world gets me.
Yeah.
But my family. Everybody gets my time, but my family. You know what I mean? So
don't be so busy making money that you forget people.
Yeah.
I think that's what Dave is trying to say, you guys.
Absolutely.
We hope this helped you. We hope this helped you.
Yes.
So get out there, be intentional. A couple of things. Don't forget, go in your phone, make the album of all the photos that you are going to be intentional about printing them out. The second thing that I want you to do is to create a date. What is the date that you're going to print these photos out that go in a photo album? Get your memories and your life and your legacy out of your iCloud and get them printed because it deserves to live beyond you and your password.
Yes.
And the third thing that I want you to do is just pick a memory to create that you're going to create right now before the end of the month or the end of in the next 30 days. What major memory can you create with the people that you love? It could be over a game of Scrabble, over a game of Monopoly. You can cook something and have everybody come over. Y'all can do a Zoom if your family is spread out, so that take a picture of the screen, so that one day, 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, in that photo album, when you're sitting around the table with your family, your kids are saying, remember this day when we all got on that Zoom call and made this memory? Go make memories that last.
There it is.
Love you
guys.
Like,
subscribe. We out.